Today on The Social, Emmy award-winning actor Eric McCormack joins the hosts to weigh in as our fifth chair. It all starts now on The Social.
Just for us, but I know that's not the case. Why? Because we've got the amazingly talented actor Eric McCormack with us. Yes. Welcome to the show.
It is nice to finally be socialized.
I'm going to put that to the test very, very shortly. But before we do, this is about you joining this conversation that's about to ensue. So get online right now, grab your smartphone, your tablet, get onto social media. Get us right now on Twitter, Facebook. You can text and email us as well. Are you ready, friends? All right, we're going to start off with a little controversy. Maybe some would argue a little more than just a little controversy. There is a nanny gate, perhaps, on our hands. Our Prime Minister is being criticized for his choice to pay his kids' caregivers with taxpayer dollars. Now, the nannies who care for his 3 children, they're paid anywhere from $15 to $20 an hour during the day, $11 to $13 at night. Now, Trudeau, not the first leader to pay for help with public money, but because he spoke out about wealthy families like his own receiving benefits that they don't need, it has a lot of people wondering why he isn't paying for the nannies out of his own pocket. So the question is, should he be paying for his nannies out of his own pocket, given what he campaigned on? First of all, y'all are gonna fight and just got, the holidays are around the corner. Eric, I'm gonna actually go with you on this one first. Any thoughts on the optics of this one?
Well, I'd just like to say, first of all, that it's nice to finally have a Prime Minister that I can play in the miniseries. Time.
Just got to grow it out a little.
Exactly right. I auditioned for Joe Clark. It's not good. This just happened, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it a little early to call it a gate?
Yes.
I think it's.
That was my own editorializing.
I think everybody's doing it though, and I think it's a little soon. I think we're so excited that we got this great new guy who's bringing new life, and yet we can't wait to tear him down. We just can't wait. It's the other country that I'm from here, but I live in the other one. And boy, we do love to bring our politicians to here so we can knock them right down. And I have the feeling that this will work itself out. I think that everyone I know that have less important jobs have nannies. And I mean, we can't complain that they have nannies and that they should be paying for them themselves, and also at the same time complain about how little they're paying them. It's like, yes, we are taxpayers, but if we're going to complain, they should probably be getting more money.
Yes.
I mean, 15 to 20 bucks is not a lot, right? So I have the feeling it's not going to be a gate by next week.
Okay, okay. So should he be, ladies? Eric just has the prettiest eyes.
Sorry, that has nothing to do with it.
So we have a consensus.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I don't think the scrutiny is fair. We want Justin Trudeau to take care of our country. So somebody has to take care of his family. And I feel like, you know what, I'm at my best when I know my kids are safe and secure and well taken care of. I can come here and perform and do my job properly. What is the point of Prime Minister if you don't have a little perk? You know what I mean? And the history of being a Prime Minister is to have your special assistants taken care of. Your nannies, or your bodyguards, or like
chefs,
or your chefs,
landscapers,
or your landscapers, or like, where does it stop? Like, let's not complain about childcare. Like, at the end of the day, we all want our children to be great, and I know going into parenting, you know, there's a lot of what to expect when you're expecting books and DVDs and baby classes, but no one talks about the cost of childcare. So I understand that we're right.
we'd be very critical of his wife if she weren't performing her duties as the woman by his side. So somebody's got to take care of the kids.
Well, I think people are subtly criticizing Sophie. I think that's a subtext that's there. And it's kind of an offensive one if you ask me, because people are sort of like, oh, well, what is she doing anyway? The subtext is like, shouldn't she be looking after the kids? And I completely disagree, because here's the thing, as you pointed out, taxpayers have paid for the services of bodyguards and cooks and, gardeners, and that's been under the umbrella. As you pointed out, we've also paid for previous government's nannies, nanny care. So why is he getting criticized? It's probably because he did point out that he felt that the tax subsidy from the previous government, the one going towards childcare, was a little excessive for those who made a lot of money like himself. But the thing is that, like, this is a whole new government, and I think you can't compare those two things. He was criticizing one government's subsidies. This is like a different situation. To me, they aren't really comparable. But what I will say, even though I'm going to contradict myself a little bit, is that I do think it would have, for optics, might have been a smarter choice. Even though I don't think he should have paid for the nanny out of his own pocket, it may have been a smarter choice just for the way that it looks.
I agree. I understand what you're saying, because I feel like, for the most part, you're on board with this. But I think that optics, this could be a really interesting example. We have been talking about how childcare and family care are limiting people in their careers.
Particularly women.
He is the CEO of his corporation, which happens to be Canada. So think about a CEO of a corporation, male or female, that has to travel all the time and be the brand face of that corporation, and they have to leave their family, and it's so hard. Think about this new world in which a CEO, male or female, could have your company subsidize and sponsor and help out on your family traveling with you. On your family traveling with you. So that men and women don't have to make those difficult choices in their families, career or home, career or kids, missing my kids, and trusting people to stay home or stay at the hotel or stay at the rented house with your kids while you're at the business meeting from 9 to 6, but you get to come back at 6, have dinner with your kids, and put them to bed, even when you're in Oslo, even when you're in Japan, even when you're around the world. I think this could be revolutionary.
Do they always have to travel with me, though?
They can travel with you all the time.
So they leave them home sometimes.
When you choose to not bring your kids with you. I think that this could be, we had Anne-Marie Slaughter on this show, and she wrote a great book about the future of women in jobs and how we can get more women to stay in the workforce. And creative ideas like this one and this example might be something we could consider, if businesses would consider it, for more women and men to be able to pursue their careers and have a family.
I don't think anyone, okay, but this is the last note. I don't think anyone's disputing whether or not he is entitled to a nanny. I just think it might have been a really smart move to come out of the gate and be like, I make in excess of $250,000.
He makes almost $300,000
a year.
Well over.
I had these nannies beforehand. I'm going to pay for them going forward. I think it could have been really smart. It would have been a really smart move.
He may still. It just happened. And isn't he working on climate change or something?
Yeah.
It seems like the business should probably let him do that.
Good point. We're going to leave that there. I don't know. Saving the planet.
Maybe.
Saving the planet.
For nannies everywhere.
For nannies everywhere. Hey, if you desperately wanted to be your high school's or in your high school's coolest clique but never quite made it, consider yourself a lucky one. A piece in Marie Claire says that cool kids have it tough after graduation. A psychology professor explains that popular kids often engage in extreme behaviors in order to keep their cool status, and as a result, over time, they just end up looking, well, less competent and actually way less cool. Were you the cool kids in school, ladies, Jen?
Oh, God. No, the absolute opposite. And I mean, if you look at, I was thinking about a song like Bruce Springsteen's Glory Days, which is very much about this. If you had it all in 11th grade, where do you go from there? As we'll talk about later, the show I'm doing is very much about that. I spent my adolescence in my bedroom, when everyone else was dating girls and playing sports, and they're not dating girls or playing sports anymore. I'm making a living at what I used to do in my bedroom.
Wait, what? Yeah, we'll go along. Ladies?
Well, I mean, I wore a Michael Jackson glove to school for most of high school with my uniform. So to say that I was cool is like saying, no, I wasn't cool. I was chubby, I had glasses. At one point, I had a mouth guard. But you know what? I developed a personality, and I developed a sense of humor, and I had to figure out myself outside of my looks. So if I have any advice to anybody, you want to swan later on.
Agreed.
You know what? You
wanna
want to
peak
come
later.
You want to peak later. You want to come into your own. So if you're not the cool kid, and if you're not the most popular, if you're not the the captain of the football squad or the cheerleading squad, it doesn't matter, because all of those people. Well, I shouldn't say that. Anyways.
We're live.
Okay, we're live. I'm just saying, you know what? You're gonna come into your own, and you're gonna have it all.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And some people, which I think I consider myself in this last group, is you kind of are always having one hand in all groups. And because ethnically I was, I guess, in the minority in my school, I had a very Italian-Canadian school, and being half Asian, you just really stand out. Everyone kept saying, "Are you Chinese?" I'm like, oh, do I look? Okay. And I just realized, you know what? People were not as exposed to as many cultures. And so what I realized is I was an outsider, but I wasn't really an outsider. Oh, because my other half was Portuguese. I had my hand in I was debate team, I was math club, I was also organized our prom. Like, I had my hand everywhere, and I feel like that actually served me well today, because I'm moderating, and I'm always the moderator.
But were you the cool kid?
No, I was never the cool kid, but I was never not the cool kid. I was the one looking
She
at
had her hand everywhere.
Yes, I had my hand everywhere. Life lessons here on the social. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Oh, we are waiting to hear from you. If you haven't jumped in yet, what are you waiting for? What you say can have a big impact on our conversation. So I want you to take a look at these photos of Kylie Jenner. So if you can see, she is posing in a wheelchair. Oh, this is going to be another fight, I think. She's posing in a wheelchair for Interview Magazine's December issue. And as you can hear from our audience, this is causing a really big stir. So Kylie is being raked over the coals with critics. They're saying that the use of a wheelchair as a fashion prop is in poor taste and offensive. Is this offensive, or is this art?
Let me just jump in first, because we heard from someone called Bruce on our Facebook page, and this is what Bruce had to say. If this was a picture of someone with a disability, everyone would be applauding it. As a person with a physical disability, I find this empowering, not offensive at all. Gets people talking, and that's what is needed. That's from Bruce. Thank you for sharing.
Can I counter that with Emily Smith Beddick? She's the Associate Director of the Institute on Disability in San Francisco. Hello, San Francisco. I know you're watching. She says, it's deeply disturbing. People with disabilities are already seen as powerless, and this just reinforces that. So two sides. Two sides. What do you guys think?
Well, it's the December issue, and I think nothing says Christmas like a girl in black leather in a wheelchair. That doesn't. I mean, it's a very strange choice for the cover, but it's. Here's a girl, she's 18 years old. She's been, shoved around by publicists her whole life. If she's going to get backlash, I think it's the 30 people up at the magazine and the 30 people that run her life that probably should be answerable for this.
Not her.
Well, I mean, really? Are we going to heap all this responsibility on Kylie Jenner? First of all, will the day come in daytime television where we don't talk about the Jenners and the Kardashians? I don't know. But, but it doesn't do it for me. I think I have to go with the second text.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Interview Magazine was started by Andy Warhol, right? And art is open to interpretation. It can be controversial. I'm sure when he first said, "I'm going to silk screen a Campbell soup can," no one was like, "Oh wow." Years later, they're going to be worth multi-millions of dollars. I feel like we're having a conversation about it. The actual whole layout is a tribute to another famous British pop artist, and who's always has controversial images, whether it's S&M, whether it's using a rose gold wheelchair. I mean, And we go back to Lady Gaga when she first started her career. Remember, she had that Louis Vuitton wheelchair, and she did the performance. You know, she was rolling around. I mean, she was injured, and then she did the whole performance. So I feel like, you know what, she considers herself a performance artist. I'm not sure it would be my first choice to put on the cover of magazine, but the fact is, we are talking about it.
Yeah, I know, but you know, I was reading this morning, Nylon Magazine wrote a great piece and sort of pointing out that certainly this is not the first time that we've seen disability props, as it were, used in a kind of glamorous fashion context. There was a 1995, Helmut Newton, the famous photographer, shot this image for Vogue, and it stirred up a lot of controversy. And the thing is, with this new cover, it was meant to stir up controversy. I think it's trying to make maybe a point about how poor Kylie Jenner, she's crippled by, you know, her fame. And I mean, I find that a little bit boring. But what these authors, right? A little bit boring. But what these authors of this nylon piece were kind of trying to point out is the cynicism of also this image, which I kind of agree with. It's not that interesting. It's not that provocative, but they knew it was going to stir up controversy. They knew people were going to.
It is provocative.
It's provocative, but it also makes people upset, and that was perfectly their intention. And I think that it comes at the cost of people who are living with disabilities and who maybe don't feel like this is an empowering position. They didn't choose it, obviously, as a fashion statement. And so I think that when it suffers at when the cost is that these people would end up feeling badly about themselves, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think that the fashion world can just say, okay, just go ahead. We make huge criticisms when it comes to people doing blackface or, you know, being culturally insensitive. I think we should just be as sensitive when it comes to people who have physical or social disabilities.
Absolutely.
Blackface has a long and storied history. I don't think you can compare the cover of Kylie Jenner in a wheelchair to blackface.
I mean, she's also done that as well, though, right? So I think that we're seeing a pattern of her trying to poke out and get some attention on this. And I mean, clearly it's working.
Well, it is working, but I mean, this magazine just came out recently, and it was only a few weeks ago in the news that the only Republican presidential candidate, Donald Trump, he was lambasted in the media because he had seemingly was making fun of a New York Times reporter, Serge Kovaleski, who does have a muscular disability. Now, Donald Trump was just raked over the coals. I mean, listen, a lot of what he's saying is obviously very controversial, but he backpedaled, and even for Trump to backpedal and say, no, I wasn't making fun of him, made you realize there are some areas where you've just got to leave it alone and respect that you could be hurting someone's feelings.
Nobody chooses to be in a wheelchair. Do you know what I mean? So it is naturally, it's wonderful when people who have to live in wheelchairs can find something empowering. I don't see how that image is it. I don't see Kylie Jenner being in a wheelchair as something that supports them, you know, at all.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Eric, you were mentioning this off the top of the show. You are here because you're going to be promoting an upcoming event, a very special one that you're going to be a part of, and it is called The Concert I Never Gave. Ooh. Yeah. Growing up in Scarborough, also your time in Los Angeles. So tell us more about it.
Well, I mean, the long title is The Concert I Never Gave, except for like 2,000 times in my bedroom. Because that's what I was doing in my adolescence. I was planning on being an actor, but really I was fantasizing about being a rock star. And that's what this show is. It's my one night to, I've got this crack backup band, Tyler Stewart from Bare Naked Ladies on drums, and Lauren Bolt from Who on keyboards. And I do songs I've always wanted to do, but I'm also telling stories about being a 15-year-old kid in Scarborough and dreaming of this, dreaming of being on The Social, and dreaming of being with 4 women. I mean, it wasn't specific at the time, but and the fact that the show I went on to do, Will and Grace, had the guest stars we had. There's naked. So a lot of the people that I've become friends with, Elton John and Barry Manilow. I wrote a song with Barry Manilow, and so I get to talk about these.
I'm a Manilow. I'm a real Manilow. So
right? You go. So I thought it was important to come and tell you that when your husbands say, "What do you want for Christmas?" you want tickets to my show in January.
Of Rethink Breast Cancer, and I understand this charity is very near and dear to your heart. Can you tell us about it?
The show is dedicated to my parents, who I lost to cancer, both of them, 9 years and 7 years ago. And my mother had breast cancer when I was still in theater school here in Toronto at Ryerson. And, you know, you can't be a kid that dresses up like Alice Cooper at dinner and not have great parents. So for them, I thought, whenever I do the show, whatever city I do it in, I want to find a great cancer charity that is doing something exciting and fresh. And Rethink Breast Cancer is literally doing that. It's talking to women 40 and under who may not have thought of this as a danger, as a big risk in their life, or realized how much it might affect their ability to be mothers. Or that. So the work they're doing is great, and I'm excited to highlight it.
That's great. This is a great show. Well, clearly you've easily earned your invitation back, so we hope that the next time you swing through town, you'll stop by.
I'll socialize.
All right. All right, if you want to find out about those tickets to Eric's show, the concert I Never Gave, it's all in support of Rethink Breast Cancer. It happens January 23rd. Go to our website, thesocial.ca, and we'll see you after this.